Story in the red.
Yeah, they're in the red, just on the right-hand side. Next to them is Soudal Quick Step, and it's just a kind of holding pattern for the moment. You can see it's very open. It still continues to drag up towards the motor racing circuit. Long, straight drag. And like we were saying just a moment ago, if you're not in position, there's no place to go. It's completely mobbed across the road.
It certainly is. In fact, the peloton, bizarrely, is wider than it is long at the moment because they're absolutely mobbing all positions that they can get into. Kazakhstan, Astana, Kazakhstan are getting themselves sorted out with Yevgeny Gidic lead out for Geleb Zritsa. He'd have to produce a miracle, I think, today, but then again, he's done it in the past. Tailwind, as you can see, but once we get to the circuit, and it really is blowing as we come up onto this minor plateau, Brian.
Yeah, I can remember a couple of years ago it was a bit more of a kind of head cross wind, which was causing a little bit of difficulty, but if this wind is blowing now, it'll be blowing across the race circuit. Okay, it's only short, but down the back straight it should be a tailwind, looking at the map in the way that the wind direction is going at the moment. So, you know, it could be quite interesting, but this is just a holding pattern. Nobody wants to commit purely because they know it's going to be very difficult coming onto this race circuit. And as I said again, it does get a little bit narrow in the entrance to the circuit.
Looking at the map of the circuit I have in front of me, there's virtually no tailwind. Most of it is crosswind, headwind. It's bizarre. It's kind of all of the curves and everything. The main straights are sort of stretched out east to west with some linkage. So it's a southerly that's blowing today. Let's see how it pans out. 6.1, we're nearly making the turn. This is going to be absolutely fascinating. The circuit is up there ahead of us. You can just start to see some of the tribunes, sort of flat angled seating arrangements, and this is where we're just going to enter into what is a little kind of engineering business park nearby. We're going to take this turn and then we will be enjoying the racing. Goodness me, let's watch those motorcycles as well to see they're our guide really as to where the turn is coming. Oh, shoulders, elbows, a little bit of wobbling going on. It's started to thin it out just a little bit. Shows you the dangers, handing over a little bit of pace here. Some have been knocked back by it. Nobody hit the deck, Brian, but it was sketchy.
Yeah, it's always sketchy towards the back because everybody's just sitting at the front, and that's that kind of concertina effect. But everybody wants to be in position to hit this circuit, which is coming up imminently.
Well, Brian got it bang on. No action just yet. They're going to leave it until the circuit. I think the wisdom of that is questionable, to say the very least. It's sort of a gentle curve that will take us to the circuit. We've missed the main entrance that the trucks would go in. You can see everything lined up on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, here is the entrance to the circuit. So they will take a right-hander on a link road that will bring us in. Get yourselves ready. 4.8 kilometres to go. We're not there just yet. Here it is. And we got ourselves a flyer. Yeah, exactly. But from which team? I think it may well be from the Eurocometa
yes.
that's shot off. Can't see who it is, but if I had to guess, I'd say Giovanni Lonardi has decided that he's had enough of this, and he's going to go and try and do a Stibar, Brian. Can he possibly get there?
Yeah, it's a bit too far out. Still just over 4 kilometres to go, but took his opportunity and has gone for it. But I think this will stir the peloton into action now, and I think this is the time where we'll see the Soudal Quick Step team come to the fore.
Well, he's a solo. We need to see what's going on behind him, to be honest. Joining the circuit now, you can see the billing of the cordon here. That tells you that the wind is most certainly blowing. And meanwhile, we've had a crash, and a big one as well, towards the back. Had to happen, just not enough real estate to play with. But the question is, who's been caught out? And I can tell you that a few have been out there. Not a nice scenario at all to see. So this man, it may have played into his hands. As soon as you start to hear the clatter of what has just occurred, then you get yourself a free hand and you can dig in for a little bit of glory. Here they come. Now onto the circuit they are right now, broader than perhaps I'd described it earlier on, but he's hitting all of the apexes. This could well be a fantastic steal. That's a camera bike behind him at the moment, just looking at him. Well, 3 hours and 45 in the saddle, and that looks like it's been a wise move, Brian.
Yeah, he went for him just coming onto the circuit, which is a good move to go, but I think he'll be swept up by the peloton because, you know, they are starting to dial in here, and a rider on his own, very difficult. You have to be probably Filippo Ganna to hold off the peloton. He got a good enough gap, but he'll be brought back, and as he starts to tie up in the final kilometres here.
Well, it's a snaky road that takes you to the back straight, and here is that back straight just being revealed to you right now. You can see the camera bikes being called out. Thank goodness for that. I have no idea what that motorcycle was doing hanging around at a moment such as this, but he has gone. This is the back straight at the bottom of it, and it's hell for leather this, and it's a crosswind that they're dealing with. He's still got a decent margin, but is going to get tagged, and there is a lot more room than I'd perhaps suspected at on this racetrack to deal with, and it is Bavila Kuka who is out front. Thank you, Brian. Meanwhile, the flaring of the low sun is in the eyes of the riders. Look how long the shadows are. And he's cast a long shadow over everybody, but he's going to get caught here. So they stream down to the bottom of the circuit here. He drifts over to the left-hand side. It's the right-hand side of the road, which is the prime real estate. And it's Trek Segafredo with Arabastori, who believe that they've still got something here. Likewise, Bora Hansgrohe are still in the frame, and Soudal Quickstep are still marking time just for the time being. And it's a proper grind. There's Peter Sagan in wheel 4 at the moment. The wind is hampering them. Here's that double phaser at 2Ks to go. The first left-hander and then a second. They're separated by about 90 metres, something of that margin, as they'll come round. This is about the 2 kilometres to go marker. The wind really is blowing, Brian, and it's reflected in the pace. It's a proper stamp on the pedals at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to hamper them a little bit, bunching up. Nobody wants to kind of take it on. Sagan is sitting second wheel, too far from the front. This will give riders the opportunity to move up, and that's what we're seeing at the front. Maybe another opportunity to move. Barastori
wants to think about it, but he's going to leave it to his teammates to guide him properly into position. Ineos Grenadiers are in a nice spot at the moment. Can't quite... Oh, a little bit of a jink and dive out of the corner here as well. It's sketchy stuff because of the wind that's still blowing, and nobody really wants to impose themselves. Brian, you're absolutely crystal clear and absolutely right. It's going to come down to that final turn, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, looking like it, and the world champion over towards the left-hand side. So the team of Soudal Quickstep have got numbers. Evenepoel is going to make the difference. He made it yesterday, and it looks as if he's going to do it today as well. Sam
Bennett is in a fantastic position. He's wearing the leader's whitish accented jersey. He's just lost his lead-out man, however. He's starting to drive it right now. He's next to the European champion, which, of course, is Fabio Jakobsen as well. They're using all parts of this circuit. They're trying to trim it. They're on the old apron of it. Sam Bennett needs to refine himself. He's lost his teammates just for the time being, but he's just starting to get back in. That's Evenepoel that's doing the guiding. Bumps, grinding all over the place. We said there'd be plenty of elbows, and so it's turned out to be. Here we go. It's the last roll of the dice. Pick this one up, Brian.
Yeah, it's Trek Segafredo going for it now. So it's all hands to the pump now. Still a long way to go. We do this left-hand sweep into the final straight, which is about 300 metres long. Just
trying to see who this is. I think it's possibly Vacek that's having a dig here. No, it's Quinn Simmons. Well, we said that Quinn Simmons could be one of those riders that would have a dig. Simmons has invested big time, and there's a huge chase going on right now. Can he possibly hold on? He drives it into the hoarded section here, and it could be a fantastic win. History repeating itself, you might say. It's a long drag to the line. Is he going to get tagged here, Brian?
Well, it's looking like, is it Ricchesi in second place now? The sprint opens up just behind as Gaviria now comes.
Picks up, it is. He goes into the dip, and it's that cruel climb. Sam Bennett's on the barriers. Gaviria's got a bit lonesome, and Quinn Simmons makes it happen. Oh, my goodness, what a finale. Ha! Well, we mentioned him earlier as a potential for a long shot. Not quite sure how much I believed it, but he had belief, and he's made it stick. He's denied the sprinters. What a finale. How's about that, Brian?
Yeah, it was a good move. Just waited. Did say it was going to happen in the last kilometre in this circuit. And Quinn Simmons went for it. Looked like Riccesi just couldn't get onto the back wheel there. Another strong finish from Gaviria. So, yeah, an opportunist move. It worked. We were thinking it could be Ghana. Would Evenepoel be given his hand? But Quinn Simmons was rightly mentioned and delivers for Trek Segafredo.
Fabulous, fabulous finale. Quinn Simmons, we thank you.
I think he was going to do another lap.
Quinn Simmons turns back to take the plaudits. Well, out of everyone, we thought maybe Pitbull Ghana. We did say earlier in the show as well, Quinn Simmons is the kind of rider who's got a bit of a kick on him. And this will be a big statement by him going into tomorrow. And he's potentially not going to be denied on Friday either. He climbs well. He's got so much in the toolkit. And he emptied that today, Brian. That was brilliant.
It was. Feel a bit of a shame for Riccesi because Riccesi could have sat back and waited, but he never. He knew that was a good move. Very experienced rider and went after. Quinn Simmons couldn't quite get onto the wheel and finish at a credible 7th, but that would have been a dream if he'd have got onto Simmons a little bit earlier and sprinted past him for that victory. That would have been a great ending to his career, but he just came up a little bit short against the youngster.
I love that. What a great winner, and what a great way to do it. He's getting the cuddles. Well, that's what they all needed. Aberystwyth finished 3rd yesterday. Trek are going to take the lead in the team competition here. Not that they'll be bothered about this. Here it is, Brian. How brave was this?
Yeah, but just look, Aberystwyth was sitting just behind Danny Van Poppel, but look at Riccesi. He was trying. It was just that moment hesitation. He just couldn't quite get onto the flying American. Head down, but behind, the Bora team just kind of sat up. At this moment, you could see that, there was a reaction, but some of the lead-out riders were just out of sorts. Coming in here, 500 metres to go. Still a lot to do. At this stage, you would think it's now or never. Look behind from Riccesi. Can he get onto terms with the young American? He came round the last corner, 300 metres to go, and it was a case of he was just too strong. Riccesi comes up just a little bit short to that kind of dream stage win, but what an effort from Quinn Simmons. Delivered this stage win, but they were coming quickly from behind, still inside the last 200 metres, and Riccesi was closing, but at the same time just giving 100% and dying the whole way to the finishing line. Just coming up the right hand side, hopefully coming into the picture, you'll see the sprint behind. Riccesi does hold on to 2nd place, but they were coming quickly as the line beckons, and Quinn Simmons takes a victory, and a well-deserved victory for Trek Segafredo.
Well, there's a big cob of the earth has been dug out there as the kids on their skateboards and motocross bikes will do their tricks. But the man who had a bag full of that, full of magic, was Quinn Simmons today. That was a piece of class. We told you he was strong. We told you that there was a couple of riders out there that could produce a surprise. And one of them was Quinn Simmons. And he delivered. That was brilliant. I love that, Brian. What a finale.
Yeah, looking back at that, it was the Bora rider that decided to swing over when Quinn Simmons and Riccesi went. I'm not too sure who it was. I think it might have been Danny Van Poppel, but he swung over to the right-hand side. Sam Bennett takes 3rd and takes the bonuses and keeps a hold of that leader's jersey for another day, but it's a great win here from Quinn Simmons, but the Irishman Sam Bennett keeps a hold of the leader's jersey.
Well, if we didn't have too much troubling terrain today, it was the race circuit that really produced the fireworks. I love that finale, Brian. I could have done with a slightly shorter day, to be honest. But that was great. Here's that dip that I was telling you about. Proper roller coaster at the end.
Yeah, it was slightly downhill. Sam coming up, just taking third place. Gaviria another sprint there. Again, it went all wrong for Soudal Quickstep in that run in. You saw Evenepoel coming up. There was a bit of a skirmish. I think there was a touch of wheel. Something happened to DSM rider, but Sam coming up quite quickly in the end. Just further back inside the last kilometre there, the Bora rider was propped in the front with Quinn Simmons and Ricchesi. He never had the legs to react. Otherwise, you know, Sam could have been sprinting for the victory. So, yeah, it was a good opportunity. Didn't expect that. Thought it would have been well controlled in this final circuit round. This motor racing circuit, and as ever, when you come onto a racing circuit like this, you know, big wide roads, sweeping corners, it wasn't that, it was the technical side, but it was the wind that was blowing the riders, and it was just that timing of that effort. I still do feel for Ricchesi, but here's your day's winner.
I think the biggest part of who was winning it was the guys we had riding today. From, you know, it's the first thing when I woke up, my coach had sent me the video from when it was won the same way, and I told my roommate Matthias, if you bring me there to this point, I'll win today. And then you saw the guys all the way from, you know, 30K to go. We were full, always in position, and then to win like that is something special, because for a rider like myself, there's not a ton of opportunities because I don't win in a sprint. I won't win in the big mountains, so you have to win, you know, in the hard days, or you make your own attacks in the final like that. And I made one promise to the team this year, and that was to win more races, because last year I didn't win any, and now I've gone 100% better.
Okay, and at what time did you decide it was a good opportunity to do the sprint?
That exact spot I'd picked, like I said, already from this morning with talking with my coach and the other riders in the team. And, you know, I know my physiology. I know for that amount of time I'm, you know, one of the best riders around. So we got to do it, because for sure we don't win the sprint.
Do you see yourself as the general winning?
Here? Oh, I got a bit a silly penalty in the first day because they say I was behind the car, but yeah, now we make 10 of those 20 seconds back, and we keep fighting. The mountaintop probably is a bit too much for me, but you go until you get dropped, and we still have Antoine and Matthias on same time in GC, so we have a lot of options for the overall.
It was a great win, and congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you.
That was a great win.
La cobertura para Canal 8, ¿no? Gracias por estar, Canal 8. Aguante San Juan.
Y Dieguito Ruiz, que te digo que se las trae, no, se viene un año.
Se viene el Dieguito Ruiz.
Quinn Simmons is your man. Max Ricchesi came very close. Sam Bennett gets third place. That is going to help him big time, Brian.
Por favor, si quieren, no. Quiero un aplauso para mi compañera.
It will do.
Sam
Bennett keeps a hold of the leader's jersey.
There's your overall. Sam Bennett leads by now 6 seconds from Fabio Jakobsen. So courtesy of the modest bonus seconds he's just picked up, Fernando Gaviria is third overall. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it today. I know it was, it had its slow moments, but what a finale. And it tees up a beautiful day of action tomorrow. 197 kilometers with plenty of climbing, rolling terrain along the way.
Un aplauso para Carlos, por favor.
Muchas gracias, Lito, gracias, Quintana. La pasaron bien, ¿eh? Son chicos fenomenales. Le brindamos el aplauso a los chicos. A Lito y Quintana. Gracias, 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 gracias. Gracias, gente linda.
The ocean race. Well, one of the greatest challenges to mankind, and you can keep in touch with it beautifully, of course, here on Discovery Plus. Follow sailing's greatest round-the-world event for the next 6 months, with every leg departure live and on demand on Discovery Plus, but also highlights of all of the best of the action throughout the race, full coverage of every in-port piece of action as well. It's going to be a thrill, as today was.
mañana. Se viene el ascenso y buscamos la zona de Barrial. El ganador de la etapa número 3, Quinn Simmons, del equipo Trek Segafredo. La segunda ubicación, que poquito le faltó al Maxi Richese, el del seleccionado argentino. El tercer puesto fue para Sam Bennett, del Bora alemán. La general individual sigue comandada por Sam Bennett. El segundo lugar le corresponde a Fabio Jacobsen. Y el tercer puesto en la general es para Fernando Gaviria. En la general de montaña comanda Tomás Conte, el representante del seleccionado argentino. En general metas sprint.